any project is in the beginning stages of it. So that's what I want to see, because when it's done, it may look good, but you don't really know what's behind the walls. So I say, if you can, ask them if they're working on projects, and if you can go by and look at it and just be able to communicate with them. All right, and if they're working on something, then they should be able to do that. Another thing is check reference. Most of the jobs I get are referral, word of mouth. Somebody told them about me, and they're basically standing in the gap for me. Is it better?
I can turn it up if you want.
Can you hear me over there, young lady? Yes. And then I say, get multiple quotes. And just because it's the low end or the high end, don't mean that they are the best. Doesn't mean that they are the right choice for you. And I'll show you some more of that as I get to the slide. But those are some of the things I would say when you're adding them. Red flags is you want to make sure they are licensed, bonded, or they have their license, they're insured, stuff like that, to make them a legitimate contractor with the city of Philadelphia. Because with the city of Philadelphia, you have to have all those things to be a licensed contractor if you work in the city of Philadelphia. And if they're not willing to provide examples or references to you, that's a flag. Okay? If they can't prove to you that they are licensed with the city of Philadelphia, where it means that they basically have insurance for their car, liability, and stuff like that, workman's comp, then that's a flag. All right. Like I said, lowball quotes could give you the impression that they're not going to give you the quality work that you need to have. And the other thing is, if they don't want to give you a written contract, they just want to do word of mouth. No, I need it written down, and I need you to sign off on this as I'm signing off on it. Okay, it's a contract. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to do. You want to have all your stipulations inside that contract, which you're looking for out of this contractor, and then he's going to give you his, along with his price. Last thing I'll say about vetting is people asking for large down payments. Typically, it's anywhere between 10 to 30% that the contractor will ask for, but that's between you and that person to kind of like vet that out, see what works for you, how they will recommend it to you. Did you look at their work? Like, you know, those are some of the things that I would say. Okay? Yeah.
I'm told that when you hire a contractor, you pay a certain amount up front, when they're at a certain point in the work, you pay them another amount, and then you don't pay them the final amount until after the work is completed.
There's no cookie cutter to that. That's what I'm saying. It's really up to you. Though that's a good advice for you. Okay? But some people, it depends on the contract. Like right now I'm doing a state contract. The money is there, so I didn't get any money up front. Okay, my money as a licensed electrician, I'll get it when I do my roughing. When my roughing is done, then I want a percentage of my money. And then also as we go along, I want progression of my money. Okay, because that's a different kind of contract. If I'm dealing with somebody that I don't know that they were recommended to me, then I'm asking for a little more money up front. Okay, but again, it depends. But these are just like some point of reference for you as you start now. Okay, when you vetting a contractor, stuff changes all the time. I mean, you can start out with somebody who's great, know what they're doing, then you run into a problem and can't really communicate that with you, or they can communicate with you, but it still hinders your project from moving forward. So you get somebody else in there, or they can get somebody else to stand in the gap for them. Been there, done that. Okay, does not mean that they're a bad contractor, it's just something happened along that way. So don't beat yourself up about it. And then you just got people who are just out to take advantage of people. And so these are some suggestions of things that you can do in that process to do the best that you can, because you start now. Okay? Good? Yes, ma'am.
That's what I wanted to ask you. So when you said the 10 to 30%, that's about the average we should expect someone to
yes.
Okay, thank you. And are you related to Marion Tasco?
I'm sorry.
Are you related to Marion Tasco?
This gentleman over here that I'm married to, that's his uncle. I'm married, I'm not, I like the village, so I'm not saying that, but I'm
Yeah.
married, and that's her nephew,
Yeah.
her niece through marriage.
Wow.
But
nice.
people, she has one son, but people will ask me all the time in the loop, I'm sorry, y'all, this don't have anything to do with it. But people ask me all the time, because my complexion was her daughter,
Yeah.
I have a daughter. Alright, so those are some of my tips and suggestions that I give you guys for vetting out a contractor and red flags that you should pay attention to, okay? So, this is my little PowerPoint that my son, I couldn't have done this better without his help. Yes.
Are there any red flags that a contractor sees from a client? Like what is like, no go to that client?
Yes, that goes both ways. Actually, I picked up several contracts because that happened. The general contractor, and it's because I know him, because I don't really do housing projects unless they're my own. But to do a favor for him, because he was stuck, he was having a problem with his electrician, couldn't communicate with him, all kinds of flags came up, and he called me late, I think, when I say late, it was a Sunday evening. So yes, to your question, they do, and that's why a lot of times like I said, you'll have problems, and then the hardest thing is trying to get somebody else in there in a timely fashion. Okay, but as a GC, all they are is somebody that babysitting and coordinated, put different kinds of subcontractors in place. But yes, things happen. Okay? Answer your question, kid? Let's see. Alright, so, key considerations for developers. As a real estate developer, understand the basis of a rehab process is crucial. Even if you're not directly involved with construction, knowing the ins and outs will help you to make informed decisions, manage costs, and ensure the project is completed efficiently. Here's a breakdown of some things you need to know. Essential tips for construction basis that many people want to know. First point. Initial property inspection and assessment department staff. Before you begin any rehab project, it's important to assess the property to determine the scope of work. Hire a professional inspector to examine the property for structural issues. And so, my picture, this is what you could find typically in Philadelphia, Germantown, because properties have set so long. So by the time you get to them, they're gonna have structural issues. They're gonna have trees coming through them. But if you got the right engineer, the right person who knows how to handle a project, anything can be taken care of. However, your electrical, your plumbing systems, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, that's what HVAC stands for, windows and doors, water damage, and mold. This assessment will help you identify what needs to be fixed and prioritize repairs based on necessity and your budget. Okay, now I'm saying that if your budget ain't ready, then you ain't ready to do the project. Second point, if you're interested in becoming a real estate developer without professional construction experience, you can still succeed by focusing on building a solid foundation and essential aspects of real estate development. Here's what your journey might look like. Build a strong network. Network with other developers. Talk to them about their process, what they went through, who did they network with, like who's their network. Because your network is important. I don't bring everybody into my network. That's how powerful that network is. Start small. You just starting out. Don't go trying to take on a huge project. You might need to start with maybe a kitchen or a bathroom. Or if the house is small, maybe it's 900 square feet, maybe it's 800 square feet. When I say small, start small in your development. Get your hands in and your mind around the different aspects of the project of which you're trying to take on. Work with experienced contractors. Again, that's part of the network. For you to find out how experienced they are, you gotta vet, you gotta talk to people, you gotta, go to different things like this. was in 1995, and I had, everything that could've went wrong. First of all, my background is in, union, I'm a union electrician, so I served a 5-year college accredited program. So when I went to look for contractors, I went through a list with the city who was licensed. Oh, I was just so not ready. Like, I thought that if I got a licensed contractor, and I went over the scope of the work that I needed him to do, he would perform it, or they would perform it. I can't tell you how many contractors I had to get rid of. One guy, I had a front door, I had to get done over 3 times. He was a carpenter. I'm like, I come in from work, and the guy, I'm looking at this door frame, I'm like, dude, do you not know what a plumb is? Where's your level? You gotta go. You're not going to, okay, so, I'm gonna go back in. That was almost 30 years ago, which was my first project. It was a quad. Actually, it was listed in zoning for a 5 unit. When I went down there with my plans, now this property, it was a shell. It had nothing in it. The bones of it was fine. The walls wasn't cracked. I didn't really have like leaks and stuff in the building where it affected the walls. But when I tell you they tore out everything in this property, I couldn't tell where the kitchen was, I couldn't tell where the bathroom was, I couldn't tell you where nothing was because everything was gutted in this property. So I got my plans and all that. When I went down to L&I, God bless you, they told me that it was zoned for a 5 unit. Well, the realtor told me that it was 4 units, so that's what I had my plans made up for. And every little thing. I had this roofer tell me, cause I was pregnant and one of my sons came early. So I really wasn't supposed to be up on this roof, but because I had already been in construction and I'm the contractor, at that time it was a 2 or 3K, I could actually I could be the contractor at that time. So I go up on this ladder, go to the roof, and I'm looking at the roof, what is this guy doing? Every question I asked him, his answer was a lie. Now, I wasn't a roofer, I was still fresh in the business, so I'm listening and I'm taking notes, and then I go to my network, and then I asked him what this guy had told me, how true it was, and everything was a lie. So when I come back and I'm knowledgeable and have a decent conversation with the guy, now he's trying to fix it. Nah, you just trying to take advantage of me and my money, but you didn't think that I was gonna find out. So, again, I had to get rid of that contractor. So, you'll learn real fast when you gotta go to pitfalls. But you hear so you don't have to do that. You hear so you can learn the right way to do the project. Alright, so,
Question.
yes.
So, I guess that's kind of where I am at this point. Like, I have a vacant lot, and, I'm looking to do a new construction from the ground up. And I've been looking for a contractor just to build foundation. And I just started, so I've been looking only for months. But every time I get in contact with somebody, it's like 1, 2 conversations, and then they're gone. They just kind of like ghost you. So where do you go to, other than these kind of networking sessions, where do you go to find these contractors?
Let me say this. Right now, all around the city, people are building, they building from ground up. Look on the signs and see who is the developer, who is doing the work. Get out your car, and somebody's working, go ask them. Get some reference from them, and then look into it. Okay? And you definitely want somebody who's already doing it. So, you go up and down Germantown Avenue, 2 projects going on right now. And they'll tell you who's doing the development.
Yeah, what I've been finding is most of them, because I've been doing that, and what I've been running into is, they're doing commercial work, not many of them are doing residential work.
Well, did you ask them, did they have somebody they can recommend, somebody they know? And you're still not getting anything. Well, you know what, at Germantown and Tappahocken, the guy is getting, his building is a single well, I don't know if it's a single family dwelling. I know it's probably commercial, but it's not as big as the other project that we see going up and down right now. Stay encouraged. Nobody said it was gonna be easy, but when you got the blueprint on which way to go, don't give up, just keep going. Okay? Good? Alright. Planning and budgeting. Once you have an idea of what needs to be done, create a detailed rehab plan that includes the cost of material, 10 to 15% of your total budget. Your plan should also include timelines for each phase of the construction. So the demo guy comes in, and first of all, if you don't want anything that you don't want to slow the project, make sure as the developer, as the contractor, that you're not hindering the contractors that you're sending in there. So don't send them in there to demo and the places are, he got the whole house full of furniture. Oh, it got trash in the house. No, he's coming in to demo, but all the stuff got to be out of his way. And that goes for every contractor that goes in there. I'm starting with demo because when they get finished, they got to clean up all that debris from that demo. Okay? So frame and electrical, we went looked at this project yesterday, went down to the basement and got all this stuff all in the basement floor. The floor is kind of wet. I'm looking, I'm like, you know what? When you get all this stuff cleaned up, I'll be back. I'm not gonna be walking all through all that kind of stuff because it's almost hazardous. And that's why it's important that you keep a clean job site. We're in construction, so I'm not talking about not being good enough to walk through trash and stuff like that, but I came here to check out a job, and this is hindering me from being able to get there. It's lying on the floor, it's wires that somebody else had used, it's a lot of debris, and it's unsafe, because I'm going to look at an electrical panel, I can't trip or fall or something, so no. Permits and approvals you need them from your local authority, so you can go down and get your permit, but if you have plans, in some cases you don't need a plan. But like in my case, what I was talking about, I had a 4-unit property, I needed plans that I had to show to the city. And they go over it, which is, plan examiners, and they're the ones who examines your prints. So they look at it to make sure that whatever your plan was for the scope of this project, that is of the code, the building code, electrical, plumbing, all that kind of stuff. So you gotta make sure all that stuff is in place, and sometimes you'll have hiccups where you gotta go back because something that was unforeseen, and I'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to that slide. So the 10 to 15% contingency plan is in case of delays and unforeseen issues. So if you take out a loan and they charge you interest based on the project, if you run into something that's unforeseen, some issues and delays, that's where you have to go into that contingency plan, that money. Yes, ma'am.
So should you have the amount of renovations plus the 10 to 15% contingency?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, quality versus cost. Don't sacrifice quality for cost. While it's tempting to go with the cheapest option, poor craftsmanship for low quality material can cost you more in the long run for repairs with low resale value. I can't say that loud enough or enough, because when we starting out, we think that, oh, okay, let me do it like this. In the city of Philadelphia, they want to charge to do a rewire of a house anywhere between $5,000 to $7,000. Don't tell me that. So if you're looking for the cheapest price, you're gonna get what you pay for. So when I tell you that the foundation, the structure of everything going into the property in the rough is the most important. Before those walls go up, you need to make sure that your plumbing is right, your electrical is right, your HVAC stuff is right. You need to make sure that stuff is right before the walls go up. And I'm not saying that because I'm an electrician, because I've just seen it too many times. So one project we're working on, somebody else started it, but we still, my husband and my sons over here, and we're all electricians. I still, because my name is going on the permit, I still have to trace out every wire they put in there, and everything ain't tagged because they're the ones that's doing it. Even though my sons are apprentices, we teach them, you gotta tag everything once. Nobody's gonna keep trying to figure out what this is, right? So the one hoops that I saved the guy, not on purpose, I ain't looking for nothing. I'm thinking the electrician was good, but they were having a problem communicating. You cannot take any circuit that's in your bathroom and jump it to another room. And that's what this guy had did. He had took a lighting circuit and jumped it, took a feed from the bathroom, and then he took it to one of the bedrooms. if that guy didn't see that, and the inspector didn't see it, I'm an inspector too, electrical inspector, and the inspector didn't see that your walls is up now, and now you got a problem. So now, you gotta go back, that's gonna cost you time and money to get that fixed now. Or say that the inspector did, catch it, and they got guys in there now closing up the holes that you already put in. So again, it's money that you gotta put back out. Alright? Yes, ma'am.
So Barbara, can I ask you what you would recommend, cause it's kinda like that's why I'm here actually, like everything I've ever tried, I've got rehab by so many contractors, including architects and everything. So even though I have a home inspector come out in the beginning, it sounds like for each stage and as an average consumer, how do I know what stage, okay? So I guess from what you're telling me now, okay, I get through that first stage. That means I should probably have my home inspector come back out again, because I'm the layman. I'm not gonna know, should I put these walls up now, or should I not? So when you hire a home inspector, am I gonna have to keep hiring them? He should keep coming out, it sounds
Let
like.
me ask you, what's your name?
Crystal, West.
Crystal.
Yes.
Crystal. Is this what kind of project is this? Cause I already said, you gotta have a license to do construction work in the city of Philadelphia.
I'm
So-
not
so-
doing the work, I'm saying.
Okay.
I'll call that.
So-
Just getting them.
Yes, you have you have a building inspector, you got a plumbing, and mechanical inspectors, then you have electrical inspector, and you got the rough inspection, and then you got the final. Okay, so, I'm gonna get through some more of that, hopefully to answer your question, if not, I'll give you a little bit more detail, okay?
Okay.
Alright, so, I can't, and I've been doing this for more than I wanna say, longer than I wanna say. But everything really is about relationships, communicating, and trusting the person that's working for you, and you seeing and understanding that they're doing a good job for you, okay? Alright, so, this is one of my final points, and I'm gonna show you some, I got more slides, I'm gonna show you some. So it says, by understanding the rehab process and working with skilled professionals, you can manage the construction side of a real estate development successfully, even without hands-on experience. With the right knowledge, planning, and team, you'll be able to tackle rehab with confidence and maximize your return on investment. Now, this picture here, we talk about, and you know what, Trey, you got that bag? I have a bag with, a old knob and tubing. And so this is knob and tubing. And so this system, oh, thank you. This system has been in place for over 50 years. So, when I tell you, when people can't afford stuff, they won't put Band-Aids on it. And I say, you know what, you playing Russian roulette with your family, all your loved ones, anybody you care about, when you say, I don't wanna get this done, but yet and still you wanna keep building and doing other stuff. We had this woman, she was more concerned about her outside ports and getting rid of this knob and tubing. This is old, it's a system that's broken down. We still have it in play, yeah, but it's a way you have to do it in order for it to still work. You can't do this. You can't, this is a trick here. What they did was they took a piece of Romex cable and they tied it into the knob and tubing. So they call this, which I need so the big piece up here is the knob. The ones that go through the hole, like that, is the tube. That's why they call it knob and tubing. But this is rubber cloth electrical wiring. Okay, and the way they spliced it was an open inside. Well, now you gotta do it inside a box. But this was meant from years ago when they first was doing wiring and stuff like that, where it was open air through the joists, through the attics and stuff like that. Nowadays we put insulation. We want our houses insulated. We want to sell that utility bill. Well, in order to do that, you got insulated. This is not really designed for you to put insulation in because it can cause fire, heat up, and all that kind of stuff. But what they did was they took a piece of Romex. This was a light. That's not a tubing. there's a little piece of, Romex. So, if they had not torn that, well, first of all, the inspector came in and he saw the knob and tubing. And for insurance, part of the insurance reasons, they're not going to pass, they're not gonna allow you to keep that in your house if they see it. Okay, like I said, if it's in the attic, you're not using it, there's no insulation in there, you probably, they won't say, well, take it out. But if they can tell that it's going through the walls and the ceiling, then they're gonna recommend that you take it, have it all removed. And that's what happened here. But how about if the homeowner didn't do that, and now we have those, light fixtures that, I'll get right to you, has like a spring to it and a box on it. It already has like a junction box, so you bring the wire to it, splice it up inside the little box, tuck the box in the ceiling, and do like this with the clips, and then the fixtures, light fixtures, the LED ones is right up on the ceiling. So, I might not have seen that. Okay, and you have that in a lot of homes, and people say, well, if it's not broken, it's not fix it, then don't fix it, and I'm like, everything has a breakdown process time. So I'm gonna go to him, and I'm gonna go to you. Yes, sir.
You kind of touched on it. I was gonna say, isn't like the wire like sometimes brittle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, the wires become brittle, it breaks off. Yep. This young lady, then I'll get to you.
So I just wanted to make a statement, more so just share. This can also come up in settlement home inspections.
Yes.
From a buyer.
Yes.
And that's gonna hold up your process as well.
Yeah.
When the home inspector hires the inspector to try to solve that here.
This is exactly what we call unforeseen things that happen that you did not consider in your budget. And a lot of times because you haven't seen it, you hear about it, it's not intuitive, what is it? So you see pictures. So, I'm really hands-on, I like people to see things. And I would prefer just like Mari pass it around, so you can kind of like look at it up close and personal, have it in a box, and you don't have to touch anything. But, and there is one wire goes in each one of the jackets. Okay, so this is what the jacket looks like, rubber, but this is basically cloth, and you can see that it has broken down. And this is the knob, and the wires that go through that, and then they hammer that one to the joist. And then this is why they call it a tube, because just one wire goes through this tube. Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Most homes in Philly and Pennsylvania and Delaware are built with an hour two wire. So as we do projects, do you recommend that we already put that in the budget to remove all the hour two wiring? Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because-
I'm a home inspector, so I bring that up, you don't like me bring that up because of what it costs for them to do.
And that's why we talking now about we have these young and new developments. You have to put that cost in place, because if not, it becomes unforeseen expense. And sometimes, a lot of times you don't know, but when we talk about the age of the properties, unless the property, you know that somebody already went and renovated, it's like a roof, like, okay, what's the, how long ago was this roof done? Consciously, you need to be asking those kind of questions. When was the last time you did a rewire, not an upgrade, because this is an upgrade. And really, it's because a lot of times people do not want to pay. They want to take that, they want to substitute quality for cost. And you're going to pay for it in the long run. So start telling people now. Listen, let me tell you something. The properties that I do, I want them gutted. I want to do it from the ground up because my name is on it. And I don't want to give somebody something that I wouldn't want. I hope that if you decide that you want to get into this and be doing real estate and you the, what you call it, trade, you the landlord, you want your tenants calling you up about a problem? Because, it's cold in here and it make my utility bill high. Because these windows ain't insulated. The walls ain't insulated. And I really get agitated with some people because they just get in and it's all about the money. Well, it's not all about the money for me. I want the project to be nice. I want it to be done properly. I don't want somebody coming back calling me saying they got a problem with something. I don't want to sell something to somebody and they say, oh, you know, she got a good developer. And everybody ain't gonna like it, and everything ain't gonna move smoothly. So some hits you gotta take, and it is what it is. Just keep moving on. Cause it's life. Stuff happens. All right, young man in the back.
I was wondering if you just give us a ballpark in regard to when they stop using, the, knob and tube in this thing?
What I'm telling you is, the National Electrical Code still has it where you can use knob and tube. But you gotta get an expert in that. They gotta know that you can't do this. They gotta know when we splice with non-metallic, which is Romax. It's a non-metallic sheet. When we splice with that, we use wire nuts. They wasn't using wire nuts there. They soldered spliced those together. Alright, so I'm telling you that if I tell you that the house you're in is over 50 years old and it got knob and tubing in it and it's never been changed,
Sometimes they take
don't do that.
I used to do it, but I see.
I know they do that, but I told you the process is supposed to do. Okay, now if you start it, then take it to the ground. Okay? Somebody else had a question about that? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just wanting to piggyback on a few things that everybody just said regarding the electrical. I noticed that a lot of people don't like to do it when we do the buyer's walkthrough or something like that, or the initial inspection. Sometimes a knob and tube come up and they don't wanna pay because it costs more to have the fish than it is to have, you know, the open floor plans, from what a lot of people were saying. So sometimes it falls through because they don't even wanna give the credit, or they don't wanna get it repaired. Or they have to wait to get it repaired before it gets sold, because that was known by the inspectors in L&I that, you now have to upgrade to, the current code. So if it's, saying all that, you always consider, like, how do they, the labor portion when you have to fish versus when you have a blank slate, when you have the open walls? Like, how much is it more than the average electrical when it's open?
Okay.
I know size is considered in the house.
No, this is what I'm gonna say. All of it is labor intense, it's just a matter of how much money you wanna spend. Because, like, so you get a house or you own a project and, you gotta fish. Well, I still gotta cut some of that wall, fish it. And I still gotta drill through the joists to get the wires in. So it's really, what they don't know is they're not really saving that much money. To me, I call that nickel and dime. And I ain't here to nickel and dime. I'm here to do it right the first time. Okay? In some cases, people are renovating their property, but they don't want to tear the ceiling out. There's nothing wrong with the ceiling. They don't want to, pay to have it torn out or whatever. But again, I gotta get in that ceiling. I gotta get in that wall, and I gotta get in the ceiling. So the hole's gonna be made. Okay, so I still gotta do some fishing. It's just a matter of how much space I got to fish. Like, in other words, even if this ceiling was open and I gotta get from where this light fixture is to that one, I'm fishing it. I mean, I gotta get over to that point. Okay, now they're talking about getting a metal fish and going down through the walls. I was just talking to Jumpstart about having an electrical inspector. Cause see, when you got somebody, and I don't know that they have one, but I don't play with electricity, and I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just talking stuff that makes sense. If it makes sense, then how you gonna do something that don't make sense? Does somebody else have a question on that?
Explain fishing. Okay, and then your question as well.
No, I was just gonna ask you, what is the average price to pull out the knob and two wiring and put in new wiring for like a 2-story, 3-bedroom house?
Anywhere between 10 and 12 and up, it depends on the electrician. Okay? So fishing is a process that we use to get down a wall. So if I need to get into this receptacle, I have a tool, and it's called a fish. And I cut a hole up at the top there, try to guess that this is hollow behind here, so I can get my fish down without it hitting something and preventing it from moving. So basically, you're just trying to get down a wall with a tool that's gonna make it a little easier for you to get your wire down. Because once I fish it down, I got a way to get from up there down here to put my wire in and pull it up and pull it down.
That'll be much easier with drywall versus plaster.
Right, there you go. Boom. Because most of the houses are what? Plastic. Right? You will face many defeats in life, but never let yourself be defeated. Alright, so, here we go. I gave you 11 essential tips for construction basics that people often want to know about. Knowing these basic terms helps in understanding project plans and communicating effectively. Safety's first. Always prioritize safety on the job site. Make sure everyone is aware of the safety protocol and emergency procedure. So, like I said, if you want to keep a clean site, and depending on what you're doing on that site, whether or not you need a hard hat, but you should always have your gloves on, your safety glasses, and stuff like that to protect yourself. Okay, that's called PPE, your own personal protective equipment. All right, that's first and foremost. Understanding construction terms. Familiarize yourself with key terms like footings, slabs, load bearing. So, you know, a lot of people like that open concept, like this, right? You see where these columns are? That's there because they're load bearing. You can't take those down unless you put something else in its place to support it. So you need to know somebody, you need to know that the contractor knows what he's talking about, because you coming in and he's saying, well, this is what I want. Well, he needs to be knowledgeable enough to go upstairs to the second floor and find out whether or not that room is load bearing, meaning that those joists underneath that you want to move is holding the floor. Okay? Know those kind of terminology. Project sequence. Construction is done in specific stages. Foundation, framing, plumbing, etc. This is what I find out. The foundation, that's your blank canvas on how solid the project is. The house, the property, whatever. Okay? Like I said, you can determine that on what the house looks like. When you see cracks in the walls. Is the windows leaning? You know, stuff like that. Like clear stuff that you can physically see yourself to say that something structurally is not right in this project, and I need somebody who's a structural engineer to come in and look at it. Okay? Framing is next. I got a carpenter in the house that I know of. It might be more in here. But when you're dealing with the city of Philadelphia, after you do your framing and you get all your utilities in, your electrical, your plumbing, your HVAC if you're using that, then you have to fire call the walls before your sheetrock goes on. You got to fire call, make sure that, God forbid, it's a fire, it doesn't follow up to the next floor, and then you got to insulate it, and you got to make sure you have the right insulation for whatever that room is. Okay? Then you can put your sheetrock on. But the inspector has to come out and make sure that the joists are put in properly. He's got to come in after that. Then you have your mechanical inspector comes in and make sure your plumbing and your HVAC is right. And then your electrical inspector is, we are a third party. So we don't work for the city, we work for an inspection agency. Then we come out and check your rough inspection. And just a little tip, when you're doing your rough inspection, it doesn't include your service. So just because your service is not done, that's not part of your rough inspection, okay? And then, after we done got our rough inspection, we waiting. We waiting for the drywall to get spackled and done, we waiting for the paint to get done, you know, finishes. The walls is pretty much finished before we can come to price it out. Also, when I talk about understanding the material that you work with, if you dealing with sheetrock, basic rooms, your living room, your bedroom, stuff like that, they're gonna use the whiteboard. And I ain't gonna try to get on into, I don't wanna play with it. But, when you go into your bathrooms, around the tubs and stuff like that, you gotta use a glue board. Because it's water resistant, okay? That's where you don't have that breakdown of the wall tearing up, getting molded and all that kind of stuff. And if you got your bathroom now and that has happened, they didn't use the right sheetrock. That's where, you know, you gotta do your homework. Google is your friend. Look and find out some of these things so that you are conscious about what you're talking about. I do 4 DIY electrical classes. And that's to empower you so that you're comfortable enough with it so you can ask conscious questions. Because if somebody's there and they might not have intentions on taking advantage of you, right? But if you start asking some of the right questions or asking conscious questions, they ain't so quick to try to take advantage of you. They're like, either they know what they're talking about or they got a network that they can go to get answers from. All right? So then the next part is that understanding the proper sequence prevents costly mistakes and delays. Now you would think that, okay, fire caulking and insulation, you know, not that big of a deal, but it is. The building code says that you have to have that in there. Like I said, it's certain insulation that goes in certain walls and ceilings, different ones, installations. Understanding blueprints and plans. This is crucial for ensuring that your work is carried out according to the design. Somebody designed it, it might be your design. But if you don't understand what you're looking at on the print, you need to have somebody to ask conscious questions, or you need to do more research so that you can understand what you're looking at with your blueprint. It's just a plan. And they itemize, you know, what stuff is, the doors, the wires, what's going here, what's the size wires that's going in for the electrical, what size pipe is going in for your plumbing. All that stuff is on a schedule on your prints that you look at and you understand what it is. Not that you're looking to do the work, but if you're a developer and you're hiring people, you need to know what you're talking about so you can have a decent conversation with them. Okay, because most of them they didn't do a job, so they're not there to really hold you by your hand and tell you what their job is, because you're slowing up the process really when you're doing it. So take the time to do some of your homework and understand what some of these terms are. Proper tool use. Know the right tools for the job and how to use them correctly. Okay. Alright, so example. You have a drill that's like a gun. That's like on a 90-degree angle, and you got a paddle bit, and by code, we got to drill through the joists. You can no longer take your building your Romex cable, which is what we use in houses. Unless you're in the basement, you can use what is it? Huh? Let me see. Yeah, thank you. The tower cable. That's the silver squirrely kind that's in your basement, and your basement is normally open. But you have to to protect the cable jacket, you got to drill through the joists. That's challenging using a drill with a bit on it trying to get through these joists. Can it happen? Yeah, but 90% of having the right tools is going to make the job go by faster and more efficiently. So you got to spend the money to get the right angle drill, which looks like this. Basically, it's small like this, got the nozzle on it for you to put the bit in it, and now you're in between the joists and you can just drill like this. You got plenty of room to do it. Okay, versus the other one. Right? That's knowing the proper tool for the job. Okay, even if, well, I didn't say that, the contractor should have, the subcontractor should have their own stuff. Material knowledge. Understand the different types of construction material, their properties, and how to use the property. That's an example of what I use with the sheetrock, okay? Another example is, you have to have a waterproof box and receptacle on the outside of your house. You can't just take a regular GFI, ground fault circuit interrupter receptacle that goes inside your house and use it on the box on the outside. Okay, all right, box is water resistant. No, the receptacle has to be water resistant. Okay, you need to know that, because a lot of times if you ain't paying attention and you don't know that, the contractor will, especially if you try to use the cheapest electrician or the cheapest contractor, they ain't gonna tell you all those shortcuts that they gonna make. You gonna find out later on when you got problems. Or you gotta have this arc faults, you gotta have in just about every part of your house, right? Then you got the contract, because they don't, those arc faults can cost you almost $50 per one. You wanna be cheap with an electrician? Now, they not gonna not put a GFI, a arc fault, RFI, arc fault arc fault breaker in. They're not gonna do that because it's gotta get inspected. And the inspector's gonna flag it, it's gonna, it's gonna be, your time, you know what I mean? You're gonna get flagged, it ain't gonna pass, so you have to go fix it, and then call them back out. But every time you call them out, you still gonna pay them. If I come out for an inspection, whether it passed or failed, you're gonna pay me. Okay, man, in fact, you're gonna pay me first before I go in there. That's how I do it. Alright? So, know the rules of engagement. Let's see where we at. Foundation basics. A strong foundation is crucial to the integrity of any structure. Framing techniques. Learn the fundamental of framing, which is the skeleton of the building. Proper framing ensures that walls, floors, and roofs are level and sturdy. Electrical and plumbing awareness. Even if you're not an electrician or plumber, understand the basics of electrical, plumbing, and systems help in coordinating with these trades and avoid conflict in the construction process. Can I give Gabe the time for this one?
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
Okay, all right, so we come from where the tradespeople work together. So if you can coordinate with your contractors so that they get in there and do their job, that's gonna save you time too. Not all this, they gotta come in and do this, then you can come in. It's coordinated. We all get our stuff done, we all get paid. Keep moving. All right, how many hands I have? One back there? Yes, ma'am.
I'm just curious about, we talked about the project and the budget and everything. Are there any grants available to, fund some of these projects?
Yeah, you can get, you say grant, or you mean like they give you the money to do it?
Because there are some, I'm coming from a whole different city, and my project is that the education you gave me, that was for the job training for me.
Thank you.
But there are, depending on the area that you live in, you can apply for grants for funding for certain aspects of, your building, like maybe the foundation, like the facade of the building or whatever.
Yes.
Do they offer, even like inside the home, they offer certain grants. Do they offer grants here?
I wanna say they do, but I don't know enough information to give anybody some direction where you give money and it doesn't have to be paid back. Now, to that point, I'm sorry, I have a store up in Chestnut Hill, and they will basically give you part of the money to get the outside facade done or a sign or something like that. So there is, and I'm sure they have stuff for like seniors and people who can get money and stuff like that. When you find that out, where the money is at, let me know.
That's the education.
Huh?
That's the education we need.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, you can go to PHDC, so they got a lot of grants.
Philadelphia Housing
So you can get
Development Corporation.
But you have to live in property. PHDC, Philadelphia Housing Development Corporation. They got BSLP and they got AMP, below you come. that if you are not below the code, you can't build the job. So, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cause I don't have much time and I'm not paying attention to how many slides I got. So adhere to building codes, always follow local building codes and regulations. So the inspectors are your friends. A lot of people think, oh man, the inspectors come in. They're your friends. They want to make sure you're doing it right. They would be the ones that get game free. Because if they tell you something that's not right, they got to explain to you why it's not right. Okay? So put them part of your network. Building inspectors, electrical inspectors, plumbing, mechanical inspectors. Okay? Because what happens is, if they come out there and it's not done right, you know what's going to happen, right? You're going to stop your project, you're going to slow up your process. So, do the right thing. Communications and coordinating. Effective communication with your team and other trades in the job site is crucial. Proper coordination ensures that everyone is on the same page, which can prevent delays and errors. I had a plumber, man. He did the plumbing and the heating. And I had a heating question the way he was running the duct. And I was like, we were an electrician on the job. Matter of fact, I wanted to take note of that job. But anyway, this guy, he was so hard. He would tell me he's coming, because what happened was the roofer had to make, I had to give him penetration to do the vent out the roof, and I needed this guy to make the holes. Now, was he good at what he did? He probably was, because I took over afterwards, but in terms of communicating with him, it was very, very, very challenging. It didn't have to be that way. He was just, anyway, so that's very important, because you want your subs to be able to communicate and get along. Yes, sir, somebody had a hand up?
Yeah, quick question on that. So say you got a building permit approved, say for 2020, so you're building under that, and the code changes in 2024. How do you determine with your tradespeople whether they're building under the 2020 code or 2024 code? And how do you determine if your inspector is gauging that off of the old code, which you can build under, or the new code?
Okay, so that's a question that you have to ask them up front. So are we talking electrical?
Yes.
Okay, so the electrical code is on in Philadelphia 2017. I believe it's on 2017, right? Even though we're in the 2020 NEC code cycle. But until Philadelphia adopts it, you really can't get flagged on it. But the code says that you have to do this, that's the minimum, you can always do more. So let's say you're in your living room and the owner doesn't want a ceiling fan in there. The 2020 code says that you need to have a box secured to the joist in case they want to put a ceiling fan in. Now, because it's on the 2017 code cycle we're in Philadelphia, you can argue that and say that I don't have to do that, but I would do it anyway. I would just put the box up there, let them cover it up, and then if they decide they want to do it later on, then the box is up there. Okay, good?
Yeah.
But you definitely have to, if you're an electrician, you should talk to the inspector that you choose and ask him, because he's the one that has the jurisdiction to make the decision. Okay? Communication, that's a powerful thing. It can be challenging to do, but it makes all the best sense. All right. Thanks. That's my logo, and my logo is for electrical car charging. If anybody got electric car, they want to put a charger in their house or on their building or whatever, they'll holler at us, because that's our specialty. Even though if a part of my network needs a favor, and we gotta do a house or whatever, we can work it in, and that's what we do, right? Everybody good? Thank you. Electrical car chargers. So if you got an electric car, which is the world is coming to